Hey guys, welcome to All Time Gaming. I'm Alex.
I'm Jamie. And that weird pause was where Chris used to be.
Yeah, and he's not here at the moment, Jamie, because he's off in Rio competing in the Paralympics.
Yeah, we wish him the best of luck. Bring back a gold.
Yeah, good luck, Chris. But Chris's whereabouts aside, game-changing endings are everywhere. Endings that fake you out or completely alter how we approach everything that has gone before. So here's our list of 6 endings that completely change the ending to the game. We would say spoilers, but it's a video about game endings, so what do you expect?
We kick off the list with a fun lesson in the benefits of remembering your manners. Like table manners, Jonesy.
I have none.
If you're sat opposite an attractive man, play with his knob with your foot.
It's just polite.
Yeah. This is Watchtower Climbing Simulator Far Cry 4, where as AJ Garley, you travel back to the land of your birth and become embroiled in a civil war.
As you do.
Running the country into the ground is charismatic bastard Pagan Min, who, after disciplining his men with a careful use of stationery, invites you to a lovely meal.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you go? I mean, look at that lovely head of hair.
Absolutely.
It is a bit weird.
It's chic.
Fashionable and chic.
And look at the lovely meal he's put out for us. Okay, yes, during the meal he does stab another guy in the back with a fork, but the crab rangoon is to die for, Jonesy. And the view? Just sit there, just take it in, just enjoy it. So when Pagan Min politely excuses himself from the table, the correct thing to do would be to wait for your host, right?
Yes, that's what table manners would dictate.
Exactly, only no. The game encourages appalling table manners and says that you should use the opportunity to snoop around Min's house.
I do that when I go
That
to
is a no-no. You're never coming around for dinner.
Because I always go through everyone's drawers and stuff. I must.
What are you looking for?
Just like sexy stuff.
Maybe they keep a dildo in their kitchen drawers.
Yeah, and then you just come and you just put it in the bisque when they open the lid. They're like,
good heavens.
I don't even know what bisque is, I just fancied saying it.
From there, the rebellion attacks, the game starts, and you spend the next 20 hours fighting your way through miles and miles of arseholes and motherfucking eagles and snakes. And it's just animals, that's basically it.
Evil animals.
Far Cry 4 is just about killing animals before they kill you.
Survival of the fittest.
Although that doesn't have to be the case. For those who appreciate etiquette, AJ can stay at the table and patiently wait. It may take about 15 minutes, but Pagan returns. He looks a little flustered and there is some screaming coming from the back, but a gentleman doesn't want to comment on such things. Remember, table manners.
I'm learning table manners, yeah.
Min then guides you to the shrine of your dead sister and explains your past. The fact that your father killed the daughter your mother had with Pagan Min. How your mum was forced to flee to the US. It completely negates those 20 hours of gameplay. Pagan Min may be a brutal tyrant, but the man cared for your mum and sister and accepts you as a son. So fuck the rebellion.
Maybe now we can finally shoot some goddamn guns.
So that's how far table manners can get you in life, Jonesy. If you're lacking a father figure, it's probably because you got shit table manners.
Good table manners, you reconnect with your estranged, not really your father, and you can have a great life with him. He's rich, he owns an island or an empire or whatever.
And you don't get killed by a bald eagle. Everyone's happy.
There you go. Far Cry 4, you don't really have to do anything to get the ending. Inside makers Playdead, however, wanted you to suffer for your ending. First, let's talk collectibles. Get them all yet? No? Well, get back out there and get them. There are 13 orbs in all, and they're not in plain sight, so get searching. Next, in the room where you find your final orb, you'll see a notice board with a light corresponding to each collectible. After your 13th and final orb, a hatch will open with a larger orb inside. Once disabled, the lights on the board will blink out, all except for one. The second one, which is underneath the cornfield in a bunker. The bunker itself is weird enough, but it features a switch that cannot be operated, which is useful, obviously. Pause the game and then reload the area. Voila! The switch is now operative. Pulling the switch in any direction plays a distinct note, and the correct musical sequence has been played at certain points throughout the game. So let's hope you've memorized or noted down the right tune.
You just go on YouTube.
That is a cheat.
Sorry, Dad.
You cheat?
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, you totally just go on YouTube. Input the code with the switch lever and the bunker door opens. What we're left with is this. What does this mean? Some believe it means the boy is being directly controlled by the player. Others theorise that the end is just metaphor laying on metaphor. Personally, I think Playdead are just fucking with us by now. What do you think the secret ending to Inside means? Let us know down below.
To be honest, the actual ending for Inside was fucked up enough for me to get my lot.
You didn't need another super fucked up ending.
Have you seen the ending?
I haven't seen the ending.
Spoiler, you turn into a massive fucking blob and crash through walls.
I like it.
It's alarmingly fun.
It's a metaphor for life.
Well, Jonesy, while Inside sounded like a lesson in patience and powering through to find collectibles and get your reward, Shadow Complex has a lesson in how to be an astounding dick. You play as hard man Jason Fleming. No, not the guy from Lock, Stock and Snatch, although he's pretty cool. It's this Jason Fleming, voiced by Master Adventurer Nolan North, is actually a keen spelunker.
Spelunker is probably the most stupid word in the English language.
It just sounds like someone who has a problem that coming everywhere. My name's Jason and I'm a spelunker.
It's been 2 days since my last spelunking.
It's there that Claire is kidnapped by the Progressive Restoration, a radical group devoted to inciting a civil war in the US through which they can take over. Good plan. That means it's up to Budget Nathan Drake to rescue Claire, defeat the Progressive Restoration, and save the day. Except, why? I mean, what's your stake in this? Why should you risk your life against a force of heavily armed fanatics when you could get back to civilization and just alert the authorities? And, you know, maybe the army could deal with the problem? Or maybe, just maybe, you secretly wanted to break up with Claire and now these armed thugs have kinda done it for you.
If you wanted me to carry your gear, you could have just asked me to.
Either way, instead of running into the facility, which is clearly what the game wants you to do, you can run back towards the Jeep and away from a bunch of gun-toting dickheads, which sounds like
what I'd do.
Yeah, the sensible way out, that's right. If you manage to get back and press B, there's a cutscene in which Jason is seen driving away saying,
Plenty of fish in the sea.
It's an interesting sentiment which makes Jason out to be less concerned about international security and more concerned about getting laid on a more regular basis, and not having to fucking fight off a resistance movement just to get his chick back. I like a protagonist that can say, you know what, fuck this, I'm out of here. And there's a pretty cool achievement for it too.
The you made the sensible choice achievement.
No, I think it's called like status update single, which is quite cool.
Do you remember when walking around in a trench coat made you cool and not just one step away from having your face in the paper for causing a school shooting? I do, and it was largely the fault of The Matrix. Whilst The Matrix is best known as a trilogy of films that got progressively worse and worse as more weird and reality-bending bullshit was introduced, there were also some games that came out as well. The Matrix Path of Neo introduced us again to Thomas Anderson, owner of the world's blandest face, as he is introduced to the real world via Morpheus. And because to follow in the footsteps of a gormless twat who thinks LimeWire is the height of hacking would be massively dull, we're skipping ahead several minutes to the pivotal choice in the first film. It's a dream sequence where Morpheus is giving you a choice, red pill or blue pill. Now, aside from the obvious conclusion that being presented with anonymous pills by a member of a second-rate goth metal band should have alarm bells ringing, the choice should be obvious. You take the red pill, as Neo does in the film, and continue on your path as the chosen one.
Down the rabbit hole, Jonesy.
But colour me curious, I wonder what happens if I take the blue pill, Jamie. Aside from possibly being roofied, I mean.
Morpheus does have a very creepy smile.
And those weird little glasses. Well, Morpheus leans back, expresses as much disappointment as his plastic face can muster, and says,
I'm sorry you won't be joining us.
Then you're thrown violently back into the body of Anderson and back into the main menu. In effect, all the events of the Matrix happen, except you're not invited. Clearly, you're free to choose just as long as you choose correctly.
No trench coats and no sunglasses, that's a rough deal. Whoa. In 2015, fans of poorly dubbed games everywhere lost their shit when a third installment of the Shenmue series was announced, albeit a Kickstarter. Across the world, people were frantic to know what had happened to Rio and his lovable quest for sailors.
Do you know of any shops where sailors might go? Do you know of a place where sailors hang out? I'm trying to locate some sailors.
Oh, and there's another plot in there somewhere about tracking down the murder of your father, I think, but it was mostly just looking for sailors.
Do you know any places where sailors like to hang out around here?
You say sailors, but you don't mean just any sailor, do you?
Right.
The last time we'd seen Shenmue was 14 years before, in 2001, and even then the ending was a little vague. However, that was only the good ending. The bad ending was less ambiguous. It involved Bond villain Lan Di approaching Shen Hualing, demanding her power, and, well, murder is implied if not actually seen. But wait just a second, Jonesy, because there's another ending. A super secret ending reserved for those who can't manage their time properly or are just shit, which is most of us, I think.
Yeah, I think that's most of us.
If you wait until after the 15th of April 1987, Ryo arrives back home to find Lan Di together with a strong silent type kicking several shades of shit out of student Fukuhara. Lan Di demands the mirror in one of the most stereotypical ways ever, a request it appears that Ryo can firmly refuse. It's certainly a heroic stance, but considering the fact that Ryo's father was stronger than him and was still brutally killed by Lan Di, this implies that it could have been a very short battle.
Don't pick a fight if someone who's already kicked the shit out of someone who can kick the shit out of you. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, if someone could beat up your dad, they could probably beat up you.
Probably.
That's the moral of the story. And yes, it was exactly like we thought. That changes the way the entire story plays out. Ryo dies from the exact same move that defeated his father, and now there's nothing, it seems, to defeat Lan Di from doing something with the The mirrors. Look out for Shenmue 3, The Quest for Sailors, coming to all good bookstores near you 2022.
Are you guys sailors?
Let's face it, this entry was always going to be on here. You can't think about different game endings without bringing up the notorious Silent Hill 2. So James is wandering around Silent Hill and generally having a miserable time of it, as you might expect. In the Lakeview Hotel, if you pick up the dog key and enter the observation room, you're treated to an ending that completely changes everything about the game. It wasn't the physical manifestation of Sunderland's guilt or aliens, it's been a dog, pulling levers and monitoring your progress in a control room all along. On seeing this, James breaks down, which is a natural reaction on learning that the last few dozen hours of physical or psychological torture were done at the whims of a creature that licks its own genitals.
Well, we humans do that too.
We would, and if we can't, we would if we could. This changes everything. Is the dog, or Mira as it's called, evil? Does Mira know what she's doing? Even more terrifying, what if she doesn't? What if Mira is just responding to the commands from a master, thus absolving the dog of guilt? What of Sunderland's wife? I'm guessing she's still dead. Who lures a guilt-ridden widower with the dead body of his wife to a town controlled by a dog, I ask you? And during the credits, Mira appears to growl at Eddie's name, which could be due to the fact that he killed a dog. Does this imply that Mira is well aware of her actions and taking revenge where she sees fit? She hops down and licks James's face, so actually, I don't know what that means. All I know is that the ending is so bizarre that it defies categorization.
Maybe that's the secret ending to every horror game ever.
A dog did it.
A dog did it. Dog done did it. So there was our list of 6 game endings that changed everything about the game. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below. That rhymes.
Nice. And while you're there, give us a like and subscribe for all of Jamie's talk of sailors.
Rio, don't mess with those sailors. They are big and you don't want to fight with those sailors. Okay. And if you like this video but want less of the sailors, then why not check out our list of 6 of the best twists we've encountered, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully, maybe.
Hopefully, and maybe Chris will be back from his trip to Rio. Come on, Chris, we miss you.